YouTube friends, and welcome to my channel, new and returning subscribers. It's Margie from the Budget Evolution, where we have fun saving our money. Today is a different kind of video. I haven't done one of these, but one of you in my comments had asked me if I would do a review on the Easy Cash Budget Extended Planner. So now it's getting towards the end of the year. It's November 1st today, and I wanted to wish everybody a happy Halloween. Hope everybody had a great time. So most of us are thinking, what planner are we going to be using for the new year? So as you know, I started cash stuffing August of last year, but I didn't start doing videos until February, and that's when I started doing my planner. I found Celissa from Beautifully Me and You. I'll put it on the screen. I found her channel and I absolutely thought the way she explains and the way she breaks down her budget, that's how I want to do mine. So that's why I went ahead and I got her planner. She has a couple of different planners. She has a weekly planner, a monthly planner. This is the bi-weekly planner. Now, my situation with my husband and I usually get paid twice a month, so it's bi-weekly, and my husband gets paid once a month. So that's technically 3 paychecks per month. But then we have those magic months where I have 3 paychecks and he has his 1, so that's 4. And this particular planner doesn't accommodate that extra week. So that's something for me to think about going forward. So let's get into it. What do I love about this planner? It is so easy to follow. First of all, when you open it up, she gives you a nice little explanation of the planner. She has a little challenge here for emergency funds. She lists a bill tracker that you can keep track of every month. It's something I used in the beginning, but as you can see, as it kind of went on, I didn't really need it. So that's some things with any planner. There are some things that you guys are going to find that you like, and there are some things that you're going to find that I don't need to do that or use my time to do that. So always remember, just because it's on there doesn't mean that you have to do it. It's up to you. So as you know, I started in February, so I'm just going to take a look at January because it's nice and clean. And that's the other thing. This is completely undated, and all her planners are undated. So you don't have to worry about if it's 2023, 2022, 2024. It has no bearing on it. You put the dates in for when you're going to do your budget. So she has a space for monthly goals, notes, and she has a nice little calendar. I kind of like this. It's nice to know. It's like, oh, do I have to worry about a birthday coming up? I used to put my bills in here, and then I was like, that's just a little too much information because I'm already doing that on the opposite side. You can list events, appointments, so you can use this side as any way you like. It's definitely easy to use the stickers. You don't have to use stickers, but it is a nice way to see the whole month at one glance, and that's what it is for. The next page is your projected for your month. So this is everything that you think is going to happen in the month that you're budgeting. She has plenty of space for your income. You would add those totals up. You come next down to bills. I think this is a sufficient amount of lines for the bills section. I mean, at least for me, everybody has a different situation, and you can always adjust how you're doing it. So like you could take a couple lines off of cash envelopes and do it that way. That's what's nice about these planners. She does have this section here on the next page. It's called the extended tracker. You could use it for your bills, sinking funds, debt, savings challenges. So it's extra space if you didn't have enough lines on this side. So you could use it for that. I actually use it for expense tracking, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so that was the bills section. Cash envelopes has a nice amount of lines, but some people have, and I think this happens a lot in the community, some people, their cash envelopes and their variable spending and their sinking funds and their bills can kind of be, everybody has a different definition of how they want to use or what section they put it in. Like we have high priority, low priority. Is it a sinking fund or is it variable? I mean, everybody has slightly different ways of the way they want to do their budget. But for this particular one, for a beginner, I think this is excellent because it just breaks it down. Literally, these are my bills. These are what happen every month. Definite. Can't go, rent, electric, maybe daycare, car payments, things like that, insurance, that you would put in your bills section. Cash envelopes is what you would normally spend on a weekly or monthly budget. How much money do you set aside for spending? Putting gas in your car could be a cash envelope. Groceries, it could be a cash envelope. What else do I use it for? I use it for my puppy when he has to go get groomed. Another cash envelope would be, what other one do I, oh, dining out. There's another one, dining out, eating out, any of those. I would consider cash envelopes because those are the things that you're going to carry with you in your wallet and pay out in cash. You can also use it not as cash. You could put the cash in and then you can unstuff it later. That's a whole different video, but you could still use credit cards and then say, oh, I went and I got McDonald's today, and you could take it out of your cash envelope and set it aside to go back in the bank. But that's kind of like what you could do, either check-in, where you check in every week, you could do it bi-weekly, or you could do it monthly. I'm actually considering about doing it. My husband says, he goes, maybe we should start checking in every 2 weeks instead of waiting for the whole month to go by. Because sometimes I think when we spend, it can get totally like off balance, and you're just like, oh, did I spend that much money? And yeah, you're tracking it, but you're really not paying attention to the category itself. Okay, so we're going to move over here, and then what you do is you add up all your totals, and then you're deducting it from your income so you know how much money you have left. We get to the sinking funds. Again, she put in plenty of space to do lots of sinking funds. I will say savings challenges in this section, I would have liked maybe 1 or 2 more lines in savings challenges, like kind of the same for debt tracker. Now I know most of us are trying to pay off debt and get financially free. That's probably why she has more lines in debt, because you might have more debt. For me personally, I don't, but that's okay. I use the savings challenges, I lump sum them, and then I break them down, and you'll see in another page how I break them down. So you do the same thing, and you're constantly, because this is zero-based budgeting is what we're doing here. It doesn't have to be zero-based budgeting. You can do balance-based budgeting, and that would be how you would say, okay, at the beginning of the month, I had $120 left in my checking account. And then you would start at the top, $120, and then you would put all your income in, and then all your estimated amounts that you think you're going to use, and then that's how you would, and you'd be like, okay, so what do I have left at the end of the month? And that should be your bank balance at the end of the month. So you can use it that way as well. It doesn't have to be zero-based. Okay, so we talked about debt, savings challenges. Again, it looks like there's plenty of room. She has a nice little section here for final totals where you can see things at a glance, and then also add up all your totals, and then you're deducting them all. And if you're doing a zero-based budget, this is how you would know that you got to a zero. Next page is the extended tracker. And again, we explained that the pages in the front, if you didn't have enough lines, you could use this as an extension of these sections. For me personally, I actually used it as an expense tracker. So each day that I made a purchase, like on my credit card, that I knew I had to take that money out and put it back in the bank to pay the credit card, that's what I use these pages for. I have one comment. On these, I wish the lines were much smaller. They're so big. See how it's almost like a line and a half than what she has in her like bills section. It would be nice if they were a little bit smaller. We'll get to that in shortly, because I'll show you something that she did do in her newest tracker. But for this tracker, this is the way it is. I don't know if she's going to update it, but this is how it comes. And again, you know, you could use it any way you want. That's what it's there for. Looks like, okay, so then this planner with the pink flowers on it is for bi-weekly planning. So there are 3 sections for the bi-weekly, because a normal bi-weekly person would have 2 paychecks per month every 2 weeks, or in a magic month they might have a third. Now there are bi-weekly people who don't get that magic month, so you still have plenty of room. You would only be doing it twice in the month instead of 3 times. So I know for me, 3 times a year I have a magic month where I have 3 paychecks plus my husband's 1 month paycheck, so I need 4. That's when I realized, like, oh, this worked great, but then I got to that first magic month and I was like, well, I don't have that extra page. So what I did is I ended up using a page on a different month that I know I wasn't going to do. Okay, so bi-weekly is set up exactly the same way as your monthly section. It's an exact duplicate. It looks beautiful. It works the same way, but you're just using your bi-weekly figures. But the addition is your cash stuffing tracker. Now on this one, this is where I would make a suggestion that I also would have made these lines slightly smaller, because as you can see, it does take up almost a line and a half of her normal lines on this page. The other thing that I noticed, that on the cash envelopes, when you go to put this section in, I'm going too fast because what the stuffing tracker page does is, for every fund that you're going to take cash out of the bank, these are the denominations that you're going to let the teller know that you want to take out, and that's how you want your cash back when you get your withdrawal from the bank. So in this section is a ton of space for sinking funds. More than enough. Again, if they were a little bit smaller, we can add other sections. So in the beginning, I only did sinking funds and cash envelopes. But later on, I decided to do bills. So I also take my bills out, and I also want to track my denominations. So I usually do my sinking funds, and then I do my bills. Then there's also not a section here, and I put in my savings challenges as well. So I think that will help if the lines are a little bit smaller, so you can fit more information on this one page. Cash envelopes, she only gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. But on her plan, your budget planner for bi-weekly, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. So if you have 7 cash envelope lines, then again, you're limited to this spot unless you move up and use a couple of the lines above it. Again, it's not a big deal. We can get around it. We can still use the planner wonderfully the way it is. We just have to manipulate a little bit. So the other thing that for me, I don't have a lot of debt. I only have 1 loan payment. It's a big one, but I have 1 loan payment. And so that's my only debt tracker. I don't have any credit card debt. I don't have any car payments. Thank God. We paid off the last car last year. So this section I would have liked ahead, because when I get done with my sinking funds, I want to pay extra money on my debt, because this gets taken out of my paycheck automatically. And now I want to make extra payments. But I want to do that before I do my savings challenges. Now, everybody has a different thought process. Do you take your savings out first, or do you take your debt out first? And I actually think it just depends on where you are in your financial journey. If debt is more important, I would take your debt out first and worry about saving challenges later, because the more important thing is to get the debt down, so now you have more money to put towards savings challenges. Then there's the other school of thought that things in life are going to happen, so you still want to plan for those challenges. And it could be, that you have Thanksgiving dinner every year, and it's going to cost you $500 for that dinner. That is something that you might want to save for, because it's something you definitely do. And it's like, instead of putting that extra $500 into a debt payment, when you know you're already paying your minimum payments and you're slowly doing your snowball or however you're doing it. So again, two schools of thought on this, and there's no right or wrong way. It just depends on what works for you. So that's the only thing. What I do if you watch my videos, you will see that I do my sinking funds, and then I skip down, I do my debt first, and then I do my savings challenges. So for me, it's not a problem. Because everybody would do it differently. I don't expect Celissa to change it. I'm just telling you how I would use it and if I would change something for myself. Okay. Moving on to the next page is another biweekly page, because there's 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And this is where I actually used my magic month to do that extra paper cut, because you can actually see this was from August. So that's what I did. I just went back and used a page that I knew I wasn't going to use. And then here's where I actually started. And there's lots of notes. There's things in red. I forgot a lot of things. It's a learning process. It always is. If you feel like, oh my God, I made so many mistakes, this is not working for me, listen, it's okay. It's okay. You go back, you start over, and you figure it out, and you get to the next month. And let me tell you, each month that you do your budget, and each month that you make sure you're paying your bills, you're paying your debt down. I know life happens. It's happened to me. I could tell you a whole bunch of things that have happened in the last 2 weeks, but that's not what this is about. This is to review this planner. What I'm saying is that a lot of us budget planners are using this planner. You can watch a few of us, and I guarantee you each one of us is using it slightly different than the other. But I highly recommend, if you are a beginner, this is a very easy budget planner to use. I actually started looking for the next year, for 2024. I was like, well, maybe I need something a little bit more involved. You know what? I keep coming back to this one and going, I really love the layout of this. So here was my February budget, and you can see I put in the calendar. I put down a couple of the dates that I knew I was going to get paid. I made some goals. I wasn't doing the tracker at the time. It wasn't one of my challenges, so I skipped that. And then I went into my biweekly, same thing. You're just putting all your numbers in. We're doing my cash stuffing tracker to take the money out of the bank. And that's how it goes. So I have fully been using this planner very much. This is where I started to track my expenses and then highlighting them in different colors, because I know the Budget Mom is big on highlighting your colors, and then you know exactly what goes where and what's for what. I tried that. Not necessarily my biggest, and that's, again, it's something that I thought looked cool. Let me try it. And it didn't necessarily work for me. So as you can see, I really did use this planner. This is where you started to see if I had a month that I had a lot of transactions, you know, I ran out of room. That's why I was saying, it's like, if Celissa makes another book, I hope she makes those lines a little bit smaller. Okay. Oh, okay. So what else this book doesn't have? So this book doesn't have like a month-end check-in. It doesn't have a quarterly check-in. It doesn't have a yearly check-in. That's not what this book is. This book is specifically just to do your monthly budget. And that's what it is. And I believe all of her planners are set up exactly the same way. She doesn't have all those extra stuffs. And I think if you're beginning, you don't want to be doing all of that. It's going to take a lot of your time and energy just to work on your budget for the month and your budget for whether you're weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. And I think that takes a lot of time. If you start out with, oh, now I got to do my month end, and I got to do a quarter end, and I got to do a year end, and I got to find out how much I really, no, you don't. As a beginner, I don't recommend that. Okay, when you get better at it and you're like, okay, this is really easy. You know what? I really want to know how well did we do in the quarter? How well do we do for the whole year? Like a lot of you track your challenges for the whole year. And I was like, well, that's a really great idea. I said, you know what? This year I was like, forget it. I ain't going to go backwards. I said, if I want to do it, I'll start next year. So always keep that in mind, that you don't have to do it all for it to work. The process can be very simple. So the other con that I had, and it could be that I'm very hard on my book, but my book, the binding started to come undone. I'm sure I could have just put more glue in there and glue it back. But since I knew the book was ending for the year, I was like, it's okay. But you can see how I started now tracking no spend days. I started highlighting them. I used it for letting me know when I had an event coming up. I mean, this book, definitely, I used it to its fullest, and I loved every minute of it, to the point that for November, I decided to go with her weekly planner. So let's bring that over. So this is Celissa's newest planner that she did. It's her Easy Cash Budget Extended Weekly Planner. It's much bigger, has more pages in it, and that's what I like. So if we go through her newest planner, oh no, the pages, I literally just got this yesterday. It got stapled or closed wrong. Oh, I'm so sad, because that's going to mess up opening the pages. Okay, I'm going to try to open it up a little bit so I can flip the pages over. That's a manufacturing thing. You know, it happens, things happen, and we'll work it out. That should work. Yeah, it didn't cut properly. Aw, it's brand new. I'm so sad. All right, we'll figure it out. So isn't this pretty? So it's basically the same thing. She talks about the same things in the front. And then we go into the first one. And you can see that it's the exact same one, except these are going to be monthly and weekly. So we have if we do a side-by-side comparison, it's exactly the same. It looks the same. It's beautiful, except this one's in blue. And then her monthly is also, it looks all the same amount of lines. It looks very nice. So what I wanted to look at this, check this out. She was thinking, and she must have been listening to my brainwaves, because look at the difference. See how these were nice and big? And now these are nice and small. Thank you, Celissa. You were listening somewhere in the brainwaves. We were sending it out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love the smaller lines. Even though I have terrible eyesight, it just gives me more room to do what I need to do and track my expenses. Okay, let's pop on over to the next page. So this is our first weekly page. And it looks exactly the same. I don't think she changed anything on this page. Let's take a side by side. So the blue one is our newest one. Yep, it looks all the same. She didn't change any of that. Did she change the lines on this one? No, she kept it the same, which is fine. I can still work with it. I'll show you one that I just did. So you can see on my tracker, I'll do my sinking funds, then I list out my bills, then I list out my challenges towards the bottom, and then I list out my cash envelopes on the bottom. When I do have more cash envelopes, here, like this one, you can see, I use the top line where it says cash envelopes, and I use that as an actual line. And then I'll go down and take out bill quantity, and I use these two lines, and then just put my totals all the way down at the bottom. So it's definitely easy to just, work around it, that's what I like. Okay, this book is absolutely beautiful. I'm a little sad that it was not cut properly and bound properly, but it's not going to stop me from using it. I think I'm going to go with a scissor and just kind of cut that edge off because it kind of sticks out past the book. But it still works. There's nothing wrong with it. Beautiful blue color. I kind of like that she did blue because, you know, my theme is ocean theme, beach theme. So I love the blue. This is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful planner. So I want to thank Celissa for creating such a beautiful planners. You can find her planners on Amazon. I believe on her Etsy page, I think she might have a link to get to them. Sometimes it's a little hard to actually get to her planners. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's an Amazon listing or what, but due diligence. If you have any problems, definitely contact Celissa. I know for me, sometimes it takes me a couple of minutes to figure out. It's like, how did I get to that? Because sometimes if you just pull up her Amazon account, it's like the planners aren't there. And I'm like, why aren't they there? But I don't know if she had she might have two Amazon accounts. I'm not sure. But anyway, I did find it. I was able to order it. And if you have any problems, definitely contact her at Beautifully Me and You. And watch her channel because she's really funny. Okay, so that was my review for these planners. I am so looking forward to using these. I'm actually going to start using the new one starting for this month, November. So I better get my butt in gear and start doing those videos because I'm behind now already. But yes, highly, highly recommend the planners from Beautifully Me and You. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.